Hi, my name is Bruce Silton. I am the creator of this series of math lessons called Fraction Fundamentals, The Missing Step. And the name of this lesson is Numerators and Denominators Defined and Illustrated. If you want to know what a fraction is, you've got to know what a numerator and a denominator is. They're big words. They're not really learned until third grade. We don't bother little kids with them. In first and second grade, they don't care. We call them top number and bottom number. Okay, now just to get started, I'm going to do a little bit of review. Okay, beginning of review. That's my name. That's what I do. I'm a tutor. I'm a math tutor. Where do I work? Clearwater Academy International in sunny Clearwater, Florida. I want to say up front that I am not here representing my school. I love my school. I work there every day. It's been many years. But I'm here with my ideas, the results of my research and my work. Okay? 21 plus years as a tutor, 23,000 plus tutoring sessions. That is a lot. I do it all day long. I don't get tired of it because I like doing it. 75% of it's math. Okay? Even 85%. Some days, honestly, it's all I do. Math from beginning to end. But usually there's phonics, there's reading, there's writing, there's history, there's all kinds of stuff. But math is the big thing. And my success rate is 99% plus. It could be 99%. It could be 98%. I say 99% plus. I never calculated it, but I don't make too many mistakes. Do a good job. And this is my website down here, mathcreativity.com. If you want me, if you need me, email me on the contact page of mathcreativity.com, and I will respond to you. Okay. Now we're going to do just a little bit of review of technical stuff. Now the truth is, if you're just tuning in, if you're just coming in on this lesson, you're late in the game. There's tons of valuable material before this in earlier lessons. Stop now, go back to the beginning, to the introduction. You've got to listen to the introduction. It tells you so much about what's going on in this series of lessons. Please, I encourage you to the max to go back and listen to the introduction and come forward right through the whole series. You'll see why when you get there. Now let's do another little review for everyone. Fraction. The fraction's any number. It's a number. It represents the equal parts of something. See? There's a fraction, 3/8. A fraction thing is the actual thing that is separated into equal parts that the fraction represents. So the fraction represents a fraction thing. If you're just tuning in, you may not realize it, but this is not widely known. Too many people, students, teachers, books, parents, they think that's a fraction. Ain't a fraction. It's a fraction thing. I gave it that name. I got it. There's whole lessons on this stuff. So you got the idea. That's the review. End of review. And now the lesson. There's your fraction. For little kids, first and second grade, top number. Top number shows how many equal pieces are eaten up. See them? These are eaten up. These are eaten up. It doesn't have to be eaten up. We could just be talking about it. The bottom number shows how many equal pieces in all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See that? Top number, bottom number of a fraction. Now, let's go give it a real definition. The bottom number of a fraction shows the total number of equal parts. A whole thing or a group of things is separated into. It can be a whole thing, it can be a group of things, like you saw with the apple and the cake. Fraction represents all the equal parts. That's the bottom number. Okay? Cake, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bottom number. I know this is very, very basic, and you all know this, but please bear with me. Make sure it's really known. Top number. Oh, there it is. 3. 1, 2, 3. The top number of a fraction shows how many of the total number of equal parts that we are thinking or talking about. 3. Okay. And here's another picture showing the same cake separated into 8 equal parts. 8, 8, 8. 1 is eaten, top number. 3 are eaten, top number. 5 are eaten, top number. See that? You can just use the bottom number. We just change the top number to represent how many equal parts of that thing. Fraction is the number, cake is the thing. Okay, now we're going into more advanced definitions and descriptions. In third grade, in my school, and in many schools, we go into it in detail. We start talking about numerators and denominators, and in this series, fraction things. Before that, I don't tell the kids about that stuff. I just top number, bottom number, thing. That's enough for them. They get the point. Okay. Big word. Denominator. It's any number or other symbol that represents the total number of equal parts that the fraction thing has been separated into. Picture time. Okay. Denominator. See? The cake, the fraction thing, has been separated into, oh, here we have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 equal parts. That's what the denominator is showing. 10 equal parts. Okay? By the way, I want you are not just listening and then going, well, I don't know what he's talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, stop. Pause, rewind, go back right to the beginning of the lesson. Go back to an earlier lesson if you think you might have missed something there. Really, I want you to learn something. I'm not here just talking. I talk all day to the kids. I'm not just talking to them. I'm teaching. I want you to know something. So if you don't get something, you stop. And if you really don't get it, well, okay. This is the book, Fraction Fundamentals, Simple and Complete. The entire series is based on this book. And there's a gigantic glossary. Starts on page 259 of the book and goes to page 332. It's like 75 pages of definitions, some of them illustrated. Everything is here. You can get the book on my website. One way or the other, I want you to get this. It's really important. Okay. Now we're going to look at numerator. Definition of numerator. The numerator is any number or other symbol that shows how many equal parts of the fraction thing are being considered, talked about, thought about, eaten, used, that kind of stuff. Okay, now let's look back here. I said other symbol. Well, denominators don't always look like this because fractions don't always look like that. Fractions can look like this. This is called the decimal fraction. You're going to learn much more about that in the next lesson, the three major kinds of fractions, but this is a decimal fraction. Now, you've already done a video called place value. You've learned about place value. I assume you know that. I'm not going to go back over it. It was a big lesson. Really important. If you haven't, you gotta. Okay? Student, teacher, you gotta. That's an order. It's a nice order. It's an order to help you. Okay. So, here is the cake. This cake is a thing. And there's 10 equal parts. 3 are eaten. Now, here we have the numerator. See it? Decimal point numerator. And the denominator is tenths, because that's the place value of the first digit to the right of the decimal point. Decimal point, digit to the right, first place is called tenths. So it's read 3/10. 3/10 equals 3/10. Common fraction, decimal fraction. We call that a common fraction. It's in recipe books, so it's common. Now look down here. We have another fraction thing. This is into 100 equal parts. We're talking about 23 of them. 23 hundredths. The place value is hundredths. It's not tenths anymore. The place value is the digit farthest to the right of the decimal point. Right, but farthest to the right. So 0.23 equals 23 hundredths. Numerator, 23, denominator, hundredths. We read it 23 hundredths. See? So it's not always the bottom number. It can be the place value. That can be the denominator. Now let's go further. We're going to examine a percent fraction. Now in most math books, most teachers, they call them percents. I don't call them percents because there's a family of fractions. They're all together. They look different, but they represent equal parts of something. So the percent fraction has its own numerator and denominator. This percent fraction, 5%, is a number. The numerator is 5. The denominator is always hundredths, and that percent sign means hundredths. That shows you that the fraction thing is separated into 100 equal parts. always. So it's really easy to know the denominator of a percent fraction. It's hundredths. 100 equal pieces of cake and all. Let me get a sip of water. Okay? And now, this is a last review, just to make sure it's there. This number is a fraction, 5/6. This pi is a fraction thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? We're talking about 5 pieces. 5 pieces eaten. That's the top number, the numerator, bottom number, denominator. Fraction represents fraction thing. Definition, fraction thing. It's the actual thing that the fraction, the number, represents. The fraction thing includes all the equal parts of a thing or group of things, plus those equal parts that we're talking about are being considered. So fraction thing, all the equal parts is 6. We're talking about 5 of those. That's it. That's numerator, denominator. Thank you for being with me. The next lesson is going to go into the 3 main fractions in detail. Please stay with me. I'm glad you are here. Continue. And if you went right through the lesson without going back to the introduction, can you go back now, please? Please. You'll just get everything. Okay. Bye. A message from Bruce Sultan. At the very end of Lesson 10, which is the lesson you have just completed, I announced that the next lesson is Lesson 11, 3 main kinds of fractions. But the next lesson is not Lesson 11. The very next lesson is Lesson 10A, decimal fraction, numerators and denominators. Now, Lesson 10 covers the numerators and denominators of all 3 kinds of fractions: common fractions, decimal fractions, and percent fractions. But Lesson 10A was added to Fraction Fundamentals, the Missing Step video series to provide an abundance of detailed definitions, illustrations, and descriptions of decimal fraction, numerators, and denominators. So while your understanding of Lesson 10 is fresh, I encourage you to go directly to Lesson 10A and get a more complete understanding of the numerators and denominators of decimal fractions. Thank you.